Meet the NK Speed Coach designed to record and track all of your paddleboarding data. From GPS tracking to knowing your exact stroke rate, you can easily review your stats and work on becoming a better paddler. Its small design and simple functionality makes it easy to use for any paddle session and take you wherever you go. So let's take a deeper look at how this little device works and talk about the pros and cons of using it. Now, first things first, NK Sports did send me the Speed Coach designed for SUPs to use and test out to share my thoughts about it with you guys. So even though this specific video is not sponsored by NK Sports, they did sponsor me by sending this product for me to use and test out for free. So just bear that in mind as we go through today's video. So I've been using the Speed Coach for a few weeks now, and during that time I learned quite a bit about this little guy. There's a lot that I love about it and the information that provides me during and after my paddleboard workouts and just as overall user experience. But even after all of that, there's still quite a few things I feel that can be improved upon to make this little device even better. So before we dive into all those pros and cons, I first want to talk about what's included in the box when you buy one of these things, as well as just how it kind of overall works and its functionality and user experience. So first things first, when you do purchase one of these Speed Coaches, you're obviously going to get the little device itself. And you're also going to get a bumper to go around the outside of it to protect it from your paddle blade from hitting it, other things like that. I chose just to get a black bumper case around the outside of it, but they have a variety of colors you can choose from on their website. After that, you're also going to get obviously the charging cable to charge the device with. This basically just slips onto the back here on the back side of it, and then you plug it into a USB port to charge it up. The battery does last a long time because this device has a pretty simple screen and display to it. So with that, the battery lasts for a very long time, and I rarely have to charge it between paddle sessions, which is quite nice. As for mounts, you're going to get this little clip here that goes on the back side of this device. So basically it slides right onto the back side of it here, slides down onto it, and it's clipped onto it. And the back side is basically just a GoPro mount. Now the one that comes with the package includes an FCS mount. So if you have one of those mounts on your paddle boards, you can easily just connect this device to that, screw it on, and away you go. If you don't have an FCS mount on your paddle board and you're using a paddle board that has a flatter surface to it, like an all-around paddle board, you can also use or purchase their suction cup device here. So basically this goes on your paddle board, clamps down, sucks to the top of your paddle board, and then once you get on top of it, you have another GoPro connection, which easily connects to the back connecting point of this device right here. Then lastly, it includes a little flotation device, because obviously this thing does not float in the water, and if it gets knocked off your paddleboard, you definitely don't want to lose this thing, because we'll talk about later, the price point of this thing is quite high. So to make sure you protect your investment, I definitely recommend you attach the flotation device right here to your Speed Coach. That way, if it does get knocked off your paddleboard for any reason, you can rest assured it's not going to sink to the bottom of the lake, the river, or the ocean where you're paddling at, and be able to just simply go back, retrieve it out of the water, reattach to your paddleboard, and continue on with no worries. So that's kind of the main things that are included with the device when you purchase it. So not a whole lot of things. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but that's what's included in the box when you do purchase one of these devices off their website. Next up, let's now talk about the user experience of using this device and its functionality. So to do this, I'm going to give you guys a nice top-down angle here as I record. I'm just going to be using my phone right here in front of me. So great camera quality, but it'll make it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing here as I talk through the demonstration. So as I mentioned earlier, this device only has 4 buttons on the top side of it. So to power it on, we're simply going to hold on to this power button right here and get it started up. On your main screen here, you can see obviously you get displayed the time. It'll show whether you're connected to the satellite or not. And then it shows you obviously how much battery life you have left. And then the top 2 screens are right here. You can change what is displayed on these screens in your settings, but these bottom screens, they're called flex screens. So what you can do is use these 2 arrow buttons right here. The left one controls the left side, the right one controls the right side. You can choose what you want to be displayed for you in terms of information. So like right here, you can choose your speed, your average miles per hour or kilometers an hour, whatever you want to set to, your stroke counts, your distance per stroke, your overall distance in the workout, and things like that. So a variety of things of information you can see on here, which is really nice. And the same thing on the other side, if you want to change that up, you can choose to change that up, see things on the other side. Now you can also choose to connect a heart rate monitor such as a chest strap. So if you do that, you can also choose to display that on one of your screens right here to see your current heart rate as you do a workout or paddleboard race. Now moving into the menu and settings, you simply choose the right button over here. Click that and you can see all of our selections here from the menu and settings. This top one is called the live stream, and with this you can choose to connect it to a phone. This is great to use for coaches, for example, who want to see live real-time data from their athletes on the water. So they can simply pair this to their phone and they can see the live stats on their phone as they view their athlete working out on the water. To go backwards, you simply have to use the power button. So that's kind of like our backwards button. So we'll choose the power button to go back here. And then moving down to workouts, we'll select that one right here. You can choose to run the last workout, or you actually design workouts with this device as well, which is super nice. So for like a single distance workout, you can come down here and choose the distance you want to set it to. Whoops, I went too far. Back up right here. So you can choose how far you set the distance to. Right now I have it set to settings in miles. So I can choose how far I want to paddle in for that workout. And as you saw just a second ago, you can choose this right button over here to select it and start the workout and paddle that distance for your workout. You can also just choose a single time here as you see, and same thing, you choose that and change the amount of time you want to go for a paddle session on the water for, and then start that workout if that one looks good to you. Moving on to the interval section, which is located right below that, we'll select this. And this is where you can do a lot more customization to the type of workout you want to do on the water, such as these intervals. So on the screen here, you see you can save up to 6 different types of interval workouts on this device. Then obviously if you want to change that up as you go along, you simply can select that, change the type of workout, and then save that on the device here. So next time you simply just come back on here, select it, start it, and get your workout going for that day's session. On this data recall, basically it just records the previous sessions you've done on this device and just save those workouts right here on this device until you offload them to your phone or onto your computer. And these won't be deleted off here until you manually select them all right here and choose to clear the data memory on this device. Now right here, it shows you can hold quite a bit of data memory on here, but once that gets up to 100%, you obviously can't record any more data on this device. So make sure you keep an eye on that percentage and clear out this workout history to clear up more space to be saved in terms of memory for your paddle sessions while you use this device on the water. When it comes down to data link, basically the setting is simply choosing to connect it to your phone, which I'll talk about here in a little bit later in this video. So we'll come back to that discussion here in just a little bit. Down here is a setup, so you can choose your profile. For me, I choose my height, my weight, and age. So you all see those lovely stats right there. For display setup, as I was talking about earlier, on the main menu or the main screen, you have your 4 boxes of windows in terms of information you can see. So this is where you can adjust what you actually want to see in those boxes of windows during your workout sessions on the water. So the bottom 2 ones are right here I talked about earlier are easy to change the buttons right here while you're doing your paddle session. But those top 2 screens, the bigger ones, you have to come mainly into this main menu right here to choose what type of data you want displayed in those bigger boxes. Going back here, you have your accessory setups, which is setting up like your heart rate monitor setup. You choose to connect that in that setting right there. Your speed and your distance setup, choose like what mode you want to see your speed, miles per hour, kilometers per hour, and things like that. Then choose auto pause for things like on your workout, if you stop moving and you're all shut down after so many times of not using the device. And the advanced settings of all the other things, such as your stroke rate and how that's determined on this device as well. You choose your start acceleration, the noise filtering, your axis, a lot of different things you can choose to set up to have a more accurate stroke rate on the water. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, this device can be connected to the app on your cell phone, or you can also manually plug this device into your laptop or computer to download the information from your workouts onto the app itself. So if you're using the app on your phone, all you have to do is simply open the NK logbook, which will give you a log of all your workouts. You can see the information from those workouts as well on those days. Then, as I talked about earlier, in order to manually download the information from a previous workout you've done, you have to go on this device first and go to the data link and select that to make this device discoverable on your phone. And then at the top of your screen right here above your calendar, you're going to hit the import, choose the NK device. It'll then search for it. And then you'll see it right there. You can select that and download the workouts off of that and hit import. And it'll download the workouts data information from this device onto your phone, onto your calendar system. So once it's on your calendar on your phone, you can also use your laptop and go into your account on the web as well to see just a bigger display of your calendar system and all your data from your workouts on your laptop also after you do it to your phone. Now, before we talk about all my pros and cons of using this Speed Coach, I want to first talk about just how accurate this device really is when it comes to recording data on the water. So in order to kind of compare this into my smartwatch, I use an app called Paddle Logger on my Apple smartwatch to record a paddle session. And during that same paddle session, I record the data on this Speed Coach. So first off, moving into the app for the Speed Coach, we're looking at distance. So the overall distance I paddled on this, according to the Speed Coach, for a 24-minute and 31-second paddle session was 3.07 kilometers for a total distance. The Paddle Logger on my Apple smartwatch recorded a total distance of 3.15 kilometers. So you can also see that my Apple smartwatch recorded just a tad bit longer distance when it came to comparing it to the NK Speed Coach. Now, I have been told that this device is actually more accurate when it comes to your total distance in GPS tracking because the signal that is sent from this to the satellite is like twice as much in comparison to your smartwatch. So if this is correct, this thing should be more accurate in terms of overall distance when it comes to recording your data in comparison to a smartwatch. But even if that is the case, you can still see that my smartwatch was still pretty close in terms of overall distance in comparison to what's supposed to be the accurate distance on this thing. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the strokes per minute. And unfortunately, since I do use an Apple smartwatch, most apps actually don't record your strokes per minute when it comes to paddle logging apps. Now there are a few out there, but I haven't used them too much in order to see how accurate they are. But if you do use like a Garmin watch, I do know on those watches, when you record a paddle session, it does record your strokes per minute. So with that being said, since I was not able to record my strokes per minute on my Apple Watch, I did record it though on this device. In order to see how accurate it was, I simply just counted how many strokes I took per minute and saw the data that the screen was displaying to me at that time as well. And this thing was pretty accurate. When I counted how many strokes I was taking per minute in comparison to what this thing was telling me, this thing might have been off by maybe 1 or 2 strokes, but other than that, it was pretty spot on for how many I was counting. Actually, in my head, I was paddling along per minute in comparison to what this thing was telling me I was doing as well. So when it comes to strokes per minute, this thing is incredibly accurate. All right, let's now talk about some of my pros of using this device and some of my cons as well. Starting off with the pros, my biggest pro for using this Speed Coach is just how easy it is to use and see all of my real-time stats through my paddle sessions right there in front of me. What's a big con about using smartwatches for recording your data during a paddle session is that since it's on your wrist, it's obviously going up and down your paddle strokes. So for me, for example, if I want to see some real-time stats during my paddle session, I have to kind of pause during a paddle stroke to flip my wrist up and see my stats on my watch. So what's nice about the Speed Coach is that since it's on your board in front of you and on at all times, you can obviously just look right down and see the stats you want to see during your paddle session, which is super, super nice. The next thing that I do love about using the Speed Coach is how easy it is to see and review all my data after a paddle session. I can simply jump on the app or on the website, as I said earlier, and easily see a straightforward layout of all my data, such as my stroke rate, my heart rate levels, my distance, and all of those good things. The next thing that I do love about the Speed Coach is you can also choose to connect it to your Strava account. So for those of you who use Strava to record your workout data, all you have to do is simply offload the workout data from this device onto your phone into your NK logbook. And once you do that, it'll automatically get pushed into your Strava account as well. And then my last big pro for this Speed Coach that I do love about it is how easy it is to set up interval workouts to do on the water. I love being able to look down at my feet there as I'm paddling during my sessions to see how much time I have left in my interval session or how much distance I have left and stay on track for doing a proper workout that I want to complete on the water for that day. So even after all those pros and the many things I do really enjoy about using this device, there are still quite a few areas I feel like it can be improved upon for this device to make it an overall better user experience. The first area that can be improved upon, in my personal opinion, is being able to automatically offload your workouts after a paddle session onto your phone. As of right now, I mentioned you have to manually go into this device, go into the settings, and manually connect to your phone to offload a workout, which is fine. It's pretty simple and easy to do. But in today's age, there's a lot of things are just automatic, and it would be so nice that after you finish a workout on the water and you stop the workout on this device, if you're going to get automatically pushed over to your phone into your logbook right then and there, that would be an incredible feature to have just to make the whole process seamless, faster, and more smooth. The next big feature I would love to see included in this device is being able to customize interval workouts on my phone in the app itself. Now, although it's fairly simple to customize your interval workouts right here on the device, I would love the convenience to be able to do that on my phone within the app and then send that workout from my phone onto this device. For example, at the end of the day, if I know how to do an interval workout the next day, I would love just to be able to grab my phone, customize my workout, and then push it over to this device so the next day I can simply open this up and start that workout. Versus having to have this with me to open it up, turn it on, and set the workout settings right here on the device itself. It would be so much easier and simpler to do that on my phone versus doing on this device. Now, obviously it's not a huge deal, but in terms of just overall ease of use and convenience, I would personally love to be able to do it on my phone versus this device itself. Another area that can be improved upon as well is actually comes to the mount for this device. As I talked about earlier, this device simply slides onto this mount right here. But what I have found to be an issue when I go for a paddle on the water is a lot of times my paddle blade sometimes will clip this device right here. And if that happens, it's been several times where it's easily just slid off the top of this clip right here. It slides off and it's fallen into my paddle board. Now, thankfully, I do have the flotation device tied to this as well as tied to my paddle board on another anchor. So when it falls off, it simply just falls off into the dugout part of my paddle board. But it's very inconvenient. For example, when I did a race the other week, this got popped off during that race on accident and fell into my paddle board. And I had the choice to either keep paddling and keeping up in a competitive pace in the race, or just completely stop in the race to get back down and try to put this back on its mount again. So I feel like with this mount, it should do a better job actually securing it to the mount itself. Because as of right now, when it's on here, I feel like you have to put like a rubber band or something else around it to hold it securely to this mount. So if your paddle does happen to clip it, it won't come off very easily off of this mount. So that's just one area I feel like can be improved upon for this mount side of things, just to make it more secure when it comes to using this on the water on this mounting system. Another area or feature I'd love to see some improvement upon, in my personal preference once again, is when I'm doing an interval session on the water and it comes time to change the interval or my time for that interval session is coming to an end. As of right now, for the last 20 seconds, the screen will actually turn black, kind of as a warning to let you know that your next interval is about to start. And even though that feature is nice, you do have to be looking at your screen and pay attention to your screen to know when to change intervals. So a feature I'd love to see in this device is actually like a beep or some kind of alarm that goes off to let you know, hey, your interval session is done. It's now time to move into your rest period or into another work period of your paddle session of intervals on the water. So for my personal use, that's just something I like to have because that way I don't have to pay as close attention by looking at the screen for my intervals. I can simply just also listen to a beep or a noise or some kind of siren to let me know that, hey, that interval coming to an end, it's now time to start the next interval session. Along with that, I would love to see just a little bit more customization in the intervals as well. As of right now, you're only going to do work period and rest periods. I would love to be able to add like a warm-up session or a cool-down session on top of those as well at the beginning or end of an interval workout. So right now, you can't add that feature in. So either right now, I can choose to simply do a warm-up paddle session on my own, and then after that, start recording the data for my workout for the interval session after that. But if I do that, I can't record any data or any kind of heart rate data or calories data or anything like that during my warm-up or cool down because I'm not recording it on this device. And then my last feature that I would love to see included in this device, something I personally would love to have as a coach, is being able to customize workouts once again, either on my phone or on the computer, and be able to send those workouts to athletes. So as a coach, it would be so nice to be able to customize interval workouts for athletes to do, put those into the athletes' calendars, and have those workouts be automatically uploaded to the athlete's NK device so they can easily pull that up, start the workout, and do that workout session for that day. So as a coaching perspective, that would be a dream of mine to have and make my process for myself and my athletes way simpler and way more enjoyable when it comes to doing interval sessions on the water. So with all that being said, here are my final thoughts on the NK Speed Coach for paddleboarding. And what this thing is designed to do, which is designed to show you your live stats and your live information right in front of you during your paddleboard sessions, this thing does that 100% incredibly efficient and incredibly well. So if you're an athlete, especially someone who is very much focused on their stats when it comes to paddleboard training, whether it's your stroke rate, your speed, your distance per stroke, and things like that, this thing does an incredible job at showing you your real-time data right there in front of you during your paddleboard workouts. Now with that being said, if you're someone who's a casual paddler or not super focused on race training, I probably would not recommend that you buy this device because this Speed Coach costs $449. And that's probably my biggest con about this device, because for that same price, you can go out there and buy a nice smartwatch, which will record almost all the same stats that this thing is recording for you. Now, as I said, obviously this thing does a much better job at showing you those stats in a live time or real-time feed right there in front of you on your paddleboard. But if you don't need to see those stats right there in front of you during your paddle sessions, your watch can do almost just as good a job at recording those stats for you for your paddle sessions that you can review afterwards as well. So that's really, at the end of the day, my biggest con about this device. It is price. It is very pricey for what it does and what it offers. If this thing was priced probably half that cost, somewhere in the 200s, to me that'd be way more reasonable for what this thing offers you. But I do want to say a huge thank you and shout out to NK Sports for sending me their Speed Coach so that I could use it, test it out, and share my personal thoughts and opinions about this little device with you guys. So if you are interested in learning more about this Speed Coach and buying one for yourself, I encourage you guys to check out the link down below in the description box. That's it for today's video though, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.